gonna go live earlier, but I had to come in and talk. I said I was watching the Billy Carson video though, one of Billy Carson videos where he was just talking about the Anunnaki, the Anunnaki and all that, and I was like kind of tripping off of it because I said, man, people, man, our information be twisted like hell, bro. It be twisted as the hell. That's why I like to dive in on mushrooms, because the information that the ones that be giving us information that we think they're giving us information, it be dummy twisted. It be always dummy twisted. It be always dummy twisted to where they make it to where they, so you believe what they're saying. Like I was tripping off how they try to say like the Anunnaki came from like Nibiru or this another planet or from outer space, bro. It's not true. It's not true. I don't even know why Zachariah Stitchin even put that in there. I wonder why he even, what's up with it, Hugo? I wonder why Zachariah Stitchin even put that in the lingo. Like it's crazy because you don't even have to twist the stories. The stories are already chaotic, crazy in themselves. But it's wild because we always try to make it seem like some aliens came from another planet and this is what they did, and they tried to, and like when you start going deeper into the stories, like anything outside of where you was actually alien, like period. Like it could have been another country, it could have been another state. Anything that was different than the people that you were around was like considered to be alien. So it's like crazy because if somebody came and they had better technology or they knew more than the people that they came upon, the people will look at them like gods. They won't look at them as being just normal people like them. They'll look at them like gods and they will worship them. And it's like, that's what you start, that's what I'm beginning to kind of see within a lot of these stories. Like I don't even understand why they have, I do understand why they have to change the stories and try to make the stories to be all these other things. It's in order to get people to follow. Basically you like, it's just switching up. It's like they switching up history. Like they've been doing this for so long, bro. They've been doing it for so long. It's like people start to find out that you can take a story, right, and you can make the story into whatever you want the story to be, and people gonna believe it. People gonna follow it. It don't matter what, they're going to follow it. All you gotta do is create the story and put the story out there. That's it. And it's gonna grab people's attention and people gonna run with it. And then you're gonna have scholars. Like this is what gets me, when you have scholars that didn't actually looked up history and did, they still will run with the story of this other person. Like, I don't have nothing like against Billy Carson or anything or like any of them. I'm just saying, bro, like get the stories right, man. Don't change the stories to fit your own narrative. Like, don't do that. Don't do that, because you messing it all up when you do that. When you start to change the story in order to fit what you believe or what you think is so, bro, it messes up, it corrupts the whole thing. And then you got people believing it. You got people running with it, running with that story, believing that story to be so or to be true. Now the people is thinking that this thing is actually something when actually it's not. It's not. Like, it's a good story. That's why I said, bro, when we diving in, like, it's cool. Like, I like to listen to these stories, even my own, like the experiences that I have. I like to listen, but I don't like to take everything verbatim and try to make it seem like that's the actual fact of the matter, because a lot of times they twist the facts for their own, to go with their own beliefs. And I think, at times I feel like I do the same thing, but not, it's like sometimes it's not a purpose thing. It's just once you create something in your mind and you decide to believe it, your mind will see it that way. Your mind will accept it that way, and your mind will currently run with and show you why you're right in that situation, which is wild, bro. I'm like, that's why I be glad, bro. We be coming together and we be talking about certain things. I'm glad we be coming together doing this. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm glad we be able to come together and we be able to like have these talks about a lot of things that we talk about, because it always kind of, it opened my mind to a lot of stuff that's going on, and a lot of things that I ain't never read before or really seen before, because we taught and we already programmed to be a certain way. And it's like, it's weird because I think the hardest thing is breaking that program. When you begin to break the program or the cycle that was created for you, your life, and you feel me, that came from the ones before you begin to break it, bro. It is like the weirdest thing. It feels awkward. It feels awkward because it feels like you're going against something that is part of you, because each one of these stories, each thing that happened, we turned them into us. We made them us. We made them a part of us. So now those stories and those ideas became us. We became those stories and ideas. That's the wild thing about it. So that's why, I think, like we have the ego deaths off of psychedelics, and we have the different things like that. You feel me? Because it's changing. It's like breaking your belief system down and giving you like the real narrative of the story, which is like kind of, at times it seems hard to believe, because even when you dive in on the psychedelics, sometimes, you can control the psychedelics to show you a narrative that you want to see. And like, that's why people say, intent and different things like that, because you can kind of control that story also without even knowing, because, you are the controller, like, which is the weird thing. You are the controller, but the controller is based off the beliefs and the system that you already have, the things that you already, the ideas you have in your mind. You feel me? How they say it creates your reality. You start to see, man, that shit is true. That shit is true. And it's hard. And when you start to change it, bro, you start to see a change in reality. It's like, when I say change in reality, I don't mean things out there start to change. No, but the way that you look at things change. You look at it in a whole different way. You get a whole different understanding than what you had at first. Because we'll have an understanding, right? Like this is the one thing that I started to see. Like every belief system, every system of belief that was actually created as a guide. It was like a program to guide people, to guide them in a certain way, to give them a certain understanding. You feel me? And it's almost like you become a colony, and when you get inside that colony of people, you become one of them. Like, it's almost like the hive mind theory, I could call it. That's what I call it, the hive mind theory. Because once you believe it, you start to see people, or you start to adjust, you start to meet people that have that same mentality or have that same understanding. You feel me? When in actuality, you should be able to, being that we are like shapeshifters. Like, I look at us as like shapeshifters, because we can shift into any consciousness, we can shift into any understanding, which I think that's how it should be. Like, you should be able to, you should be able to get along or talk or have conversations, or these conversations, with anybody despite their beliefs. Like, I was listening. I went and watched that Gaddafi. They did a whole little thing on Gaddafi, a whole little I forgot what it was. They did a whole little thing on Gaddafi. The one dude from the Outlaws that rapped with Tupac, right? And he was saying how he turned to Islam. See, because you got to understand, like, also, a lot of these religions and a lot of these beliefs are saviors. They're saving you from destroying yourself. That's what they were created for. They're saving you from actually destroying yourself, and like, that's what he was doing. Like, as you watch the video, his parents was took out when he was young, like in front of him though. In front of them, I'm talking about when they was like ages 5, like 3 to like 7. You feel me? Lose their parents in front of them, both of them, mama and dad, smacked in front of them. You feel me? So as he grew up, his grandmother, started to basically raise him and stuff. This is what he's telling. He's telling the story, and they got others telling the story. Tupac brother, and you feel me, and a couple of other people, but it was talking about even how they came up with the names, Gaddafi, Napoleon. They came up with all the different names and stuff. But his family got smacked, so and then like once he got with Tupac, like, you feel me, his life started to go different. It started to get better. He started to see different things. So, you feel me, then he's starting to make money. So he going, dang, I'm making money now. What I'm gonna do is, no matter of fact, the story was on Napoleon. It wasn't Gaddafi. Gaddafi is his cousin that got smacked too after Tupac, a little while after Tupac. But as the story goes on, he's saying, my mom and my dad gone, so since my grandmother raised me, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make money to give my grandmother a house and all this, and then bam, his grandmother passes away, and then, you feel me, so now he's leaning more on Tupac, and then boom, Tupac passes away. You feel me? Now he's leaning on his cousin Gaddafi. They become close, and they like, okay, because he's find himself back in the city, like dealing drugs, holding guns. And he's like, man, I gotta change this. So he tell his cousin, we gonna move away. Well, Gaddafi was like more his friend, like, but they were like real close because they grew up together. But he leaves Gaddafi, with one of his cousins, because Gaddafi was like, hold on, bro, I got to do this, this, and this. So Gaddafi ended up getting smacked by the cousin that he left him with, his own cousin. You feel me? Which was like kind of crazy, but something happened to where, like that just really made him fall apart. And then he went to jail, but he was saying, this dude came to him and was like telling him, because he got into a fight with his brother, and like he had his brother left his brother leaking, his brother was bleeding. What's up with it, Tim? And he said, the dude told him, because the dude was the one telling the story at this point, like, yeah, I told him, that blood on the floor, is that your brother's blood? And he was like, yeah, I think so. And he was like, well, that blood, that's your mother and your father. That's who blood that is. And the way dude talked to him, it made him change the way he looked at things. But come to find out, the dude was a Muslim. And he didn't like Muslims because, he felt the Muslims was the ones that took his mother and father out. You feel me? He felt like that's who it was, but it wasn't. It was like somebody from like the nation or something like that. But it was like crazy because that just the religion, once he, dude took him and had him pray and had him do certain things, it changed his whole perspective on life. It helped him, it saved him from destroying himself in the way that he was destroying himself. And like, that's what you start to see. Is like not just religion, spirituality, all these things save you from yourself, from destroying yourself, from like destroying others. Like, it's like almost like these things are saviors for humanity, so we don't, do what we be doing to each other. And it's like, but it's wild because even though they do this, you start to see that the ones that are actually controlling the religions, which the religions become the gods, these are the ones that are like, really like using people. A lot of them are using people because it seems like once you get help and once you get saved and everything is okay, you shouldn't really need the thing no more. If you gotta, because I felt like this, like even with psychedelics, right? I said, damn, if I gotta use psychedelics to help me now, am I gonna have to do it for the rest of my life? Like, if I used it in order to change my way of thinking and to get me out of some of the bad things that I was doing, like, is this gonna be a crutch that I'm gonna have to use for the rest of my life? Like, in the sense to where am I gonna have to take psychedelics until my deathbed in order to keep my mind in a certain place? And it's like, nah, sometimes, bro, when you get it, bro, you just got it. When you got it, you got it. You find out that you don't need the thing no more. But what we usually do is we take the thing and we go share it with other people because we want other people to go, to go, man, hey, look, this thing helped me. It might can help you, which we see it, and a lot of times it does, but in other instances it don't. It's like some things work for some people and some don't. And then some people, they get it and they still be the same person. They get it and they begin to use the thing as a weapon. I think that's the part that gets me is when some people get the understanding. When some people get the understanding, it don't matter whether it's Christianity, whether it's Islam, whether it's like you the Buddhist monk stuff or whatever it is. It's like people begin to use it as a weapon against other people, which is I think that's the part that kind of messes it off, is when they do that. Because once they start using it as a weapon, it make other people turn away. It make other people not want to be in it. It make other people go, man, I'm not doing that. Because like if you notice, like today, in today's time, it's a lot of people not going to church. Like in general, it's just a lot of people not doing the church thing. I think that because the people that run the church, the people that control the church, like even the ones, the Catholic churches or whatever, the ones that are in control, it's like they use this thing as a weapon. And then and it's like at the same time, like it's supposed to be used to make you connect with yourself better, to better understand yourself, so that you better understand other people and you be able to deal with other people and seeing them as yourself. But if you notice, with a lot of different religions, it's creating hate and love at the same time. It's playing both sides of the field, because it's telling them, hey, this type of people don't like this type of people, on top of telling it, hey, love everybody that's here, because this is the ones that's gonna help you. The ones that's here are the people that's gonna help you. And I think that's one of the messages I don't be trying to spread. I don't want to make it seem like, okay, everybody here is just gonna be your friend and nobody, you can't trust nobody. And it's like, nah, bro, I feel like nowadays you can actually trust anybody. It's just everybody, how you handle everybody. That's the thing. It's how you deal with everybody. It's dealing with everybody and not giving everybody that leeway to be able to take over you. Yeah, it is for survival. It is for survival. But it's like it's crazy. It's protecting you against you. It's protecting you from yourself. That's what we do. When we come in, we don't just destroy others, we destroy ourselves in the same sense. A lot of us is fighting with ourselves on a daily basis. A lot of us is fighting with ourselves on a daily basis. And like he was saying, like this is how I feel too, because it depending on where you was raised or where you came up at. Like when I was young, I thought selling dope and stuff like that was the thing to do, because everybody that I knew, that's what they were doing. Where I was raised, everybody was selling dope, you feel me, selling drugs, gang banging, or if they weren't gang banging, they were pimping. And you feel me? And you what's up with it, Alexander? When you grow up around that, you gotta understand, like if you live in the hood, like when I moved to Compton, right? And I stayed with my grandfather in Compton, you couldn't live in that hood and not be from that hood. That was impossible. You couldn't do that. You couldn't live in that hood and not be from that hood. So it's almost like it's the same thing in every sense. Like, like even within religion, like you couldn't live around those people if you wasn't from their sect. It's like the same thing with everything, bro. And it's weird because I think once I seen the reflection thing, and I seen like everything was a reflection of your mind, you can see everything actually is just a reflection of itself, of the world, of what's going. Everything is just, it's like the same thing reoccurring, that's actually just covering itself in other clothing to make itself look different, to make itself look like something else. And it's not. It's all the same thing that's going on, that's replaying itself in every which way. You feel me? Like shirts, like how we see shirts. Like you got a button-up shirt, you got a polo shirt, you feel me? You got a blue shirt, you got a green shirt. They're all shirts though. Pants, you got a million different styles of pants, but they're all pants though. So it's almost like us. You got billions of people, but they're all people. They're all human. They're all the same entity. And that's how it is with everything. Once you start seeing, bro, it's like weird as hell. It's weird as hell. And then sometimes I ain't gonna lie, I'll be like, I don't want to see it no more. Sometimes I'll just be wanting to go back to the what we would call sleep, which I think we all woke in a sense. I don't think anybody's sleep because everybody's doing exactly what they want to do. There's nobody not too much doing what they don't want to do. You feel me? Everybody's going about life in their own way. Whether it's enslaving people, whether it's destroying people, whether it's gang banging, whether it's getting into politics, everybody is going about it in their own way. But the choices that they make was put in front of them before they was able to make the choice. Because think about it, right? The choices already was here. You feel me? That's why they got, like, the way we're populated. Even when you look in the city, that's why they got the suburbs, they got the ghetto hood, they got different ones. You feel me? Because depending on where you're gonna be born at, that's what the fuck you gonna be. You feel me? And some of us, we break up out of it, but some don't. Some like end up just being that where they was from. You feel me? Like, and they don't know how to break up out of it because they think that's what life is. They believe that's what life is, so that's what they become. And then you can't get mad at them. It's like, because you can't get mad at them because they don't know this is going on. They following what is. You feel me? Like, it's like, like you growing up and your parents teaching you to be a certain way. You feel me? Like I always thought this about my kids. Like, I'm teaching my kids one thing, but then as soon as my kids get off and they go to school, they learn something totally different. They become we are PCs, really, when you think about it, because there's not an understanding out there that hasn't been done. There's nothing out there that hasn't been done, bro. We are PCs. We are PCs. That's just what we are. Like, you feel me? Like, we are. And the ideas and those different things are actually the controllers of our system. The ideas and everything, because there's no ideas or anything that's going on right now that hasn't been done. It's not nothing new. That's the crazy thing about it. We'll make it new and make it seem like it's something new, because once we get it, it seems new to you. I think that's the dope part about it, is once you get it, it seems like it's new to you, but it's really not. It's always been here. It's just been waiting for you to tap into it, waiting for other ones to tap into it and actually become it. But I gotta go. I gotta get in here to work, bro. Tonight I'm gonna be doing a live though, you feel me? And I'll see y'all then, man. Peace out. I gotta go. I'm late.